Whereas 2016-499 sponsors Mena Johnson Henderson and others. This approves an application for Federal Lands Access Program grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation to the Metro Planning Department to improve state and local transportation facilities that provide access through federal lands for visitors, recreationists, and resource users. And I do have a letter from the sponsor. It's been moved and seconded. Is it not working? All right, I'll lick it. Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Can you hear me now? Okay. Next is on to bills. BL 2016-499, sponsor O'Connell, Cooper, and others. This authorizes temporary and permanent easements to Piedmont Natural Gas for 1214, 1422, and 1450 Lebanon Road, and 0 Omaha Place for purpose of installing and maintaining a natural gas line. And I have a letter from the sponsor to approve. Is there a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-500, sponsors Karen Johnson, Cooper, and others. This authorizes the acquisition of certain easements and property rights for use in public projects for Willow Branch sidewalk improvements. And I have a letter from the sponsor to approve. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-501, sponsors Anthony Davis, Cooper, and others. This authorizes the acquisition of easements and property rights by negotiation or condemnation for use in public projects for the Greenfield Avenue sidewalk improvements. I have a letter from the sponsor, and I have the sponsor. Do we have a motion? Been moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-502, sponsors Anthony Davis, Cooper, and others. Authorizes the acquisition and easement and property rights for Branch Street sidewalk improvements. I have a letter from the sponsor to approve. Do I have a motion? Been moved and seconded. No discussion. All those in favor? Any opposed? Like sign, bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-503, sponsors Allen, Cooper, and Elrod. This authorizes easements and property rights for public projects for 18th Avenue South sidewalk improvements. And I have a letter of approval. Is there a motion to approve? Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Bill is recommended. Connell is here. Okay. Next is BL 2016-504, sponsors Pridemore, Cooper, and others. Authorizes the acquisition of easements and property rights for public projects for Neely's Bend intersection improvements. And I have a letter from the sponsor to approve. Is there a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-505, sponsors Hastings, Cooper, and others. This authorizes the acquisition of easements and property rights for use in public projects for Ewing Lane culvert replacement. I have a letter from the sponsor to approve. Is there a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-506, sponsors Withers, Cooper, and others. This authorizes the acquisition of certain easements and property rights for use in public projects of Metro for Franklin Avenue sidewalk improvements. I have a letter from the sponsor to approve. Is there a motion? It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-507, sponsors Syracuse, Cooper, and others. This authorizes the acquisition of easements and property rights for use in public projects for Lebanon Pike sidewalk improvements. Is there a motion? Been moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-508, sponsor Scott Davis, Cooper, and others. This authorizes the acquisition of easements and property rights for use in public projects for Jones Circle sidewalk improvements. Do I have a motion? Been moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-509, sponsor Scott Davis, Allen, and Elrod. Abandons a portion of an existing sewer easement on property located at 801 Cowan Street. Do I have a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is 2016-510, sponsors Roberts, Allen, and Elrod, abandons existing easement rights for property located at 0 Illinois Avenue. And I do have a letter from the sponsor to approve. Do I have a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None. Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-511, sponsors Roberts, Allen, and Elrod, authorizes Metro to abandon existing easement rights for property located at 5000 Kentucky Avenue. I do have a letter from the sponsor to approve. Is there a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-512. Sponsors Allen and Elrod, authorizes Metro to accept permanent and temporary easements for the Torbay Drive Stormwater Improvement Project for properties located at 4868 and 4874 Torbay Drive. Do I have a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Now we have bills on third reading. Substitute Bill 2016-409, sponsor is Rosenberg. I have a letter from the sponsor, I'm told, asking for approval. Is there a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-411, sponsors Murphy and Mina Johnson, changes 22.68 acres from R20 to RS20 zoning for various properties located on Woodlawn Drive, Lynbrook Road, and Bowling Avenue. Do I have a motion? It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Murphy.
Or this is, when we move this, it's the substitute bill, right?
I do not see the substitute listed here.
All right, reverse. I will ask that on my next, I think, 2 agenda items down.
Okay, fair enough. And Councilmember Bedney.
Yes, a question for Council Lady Kathleen. So this is one that we had a crowd of people come and speak. Can you speak to what accommodations you made to address that?
So,
Councilmember Murphy.
actually, at the public hearing, this is one that it got deferred at planning, and this one we did not have anyone speak at the public hearing. No, we didn't have anybody speak at the public hearing on this one.
Okay, never mind then. Thank you.
Yeah, I got them confused too.
That one's coming up in two more agenda items. Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is substitute BL 2016-414, sponsor is Scott Davis, changes 5.82 acres from R6 to SP zoning for various properties along Elvira Avenue, Manor Avenue, and Keeling Avenue to permit a maximum of 221 residential units. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move for an indefinite deferral with a brief explanation, please.
Okay. It's moved and seconded. Councilmember Davis.
Change my mind.
How about that brief explanation?
I want to, first of all, I want to thank my neighbors who came out for and against. I also want to thank Brandon, who used to be on the planning staff, is now on the council staff. I want to thank the planners for their assistance. I want to thank Attorney Jameson for his guidance and his patience and his expertise. We're deferring this indefinitely, not because one side is nay, another side is yay. We're deferring it to make sure that the affordable housing component is as strong as it can be. As you can see, the developer is willing to provide letters of intent and contracts to those who are displaced in that area so that they can have affordable housing. I want to work with some of the Barnes Fund people and also closely with my colleagues on the Barnes Fund board, like President Allen, like Kobe Sledge and others, and of course, Mr. Bedney, who we all love and adore. And the main thing is we want to get this correct because we have a potential to provide, even recently looking at adjusting some numbers, 50 real affordable units, 25 3 bedrooms, and then some 1 bedrooms there. but we need fix some glitches. And I know Brandon and Mr. Jameson worked hard, and I appreciate your hard work, gentlemen. I know it's your job, but just thank you. And I just want to thank my neighbors. I've converted a lot of no's this weekend to maybes who want to come back and tell you that they're going to be a yes. Now they see the contracts and they see the laid out plan. And I want to be able to include, even though I'm not moving the substitute that Jameson and Brandon worked so hard on, I want to include it, not move it, but I want to be able to show people what we're looking at in the community, and just so they can understand what we look like. But I want to support my council member to make sure that her neighborhood can at least live with some of the access, maybe not access through Maynard, but maybe just focusing more towards Gallatin and Keeling. And that's all. I just want to thank everybody for their patience, and I'm still going to be pushing for affordability. Thank
Thank you, I appreciate that. So just to be clear, do you want to move the substitute, the second substitute, and then defer, just to have
Yes.
that out there for discussion? Okay,
Yes.
so right now, we're going to
Well,
vote.
I just want to just defer. I don't want to discuss it
Okay,
because it could change, you know?
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to have it on the official record, that's the way to make sure people can see it, or we can just continue for people to continue to see what's currently on there as the first substitute. Your choice.
Let's move it and then
Okay.
defer.
Okay, so we're voting on the second substitute, and then we'll come back and vote on deferral. So we're voting on the second substitute, which is included in the packet. All those in favor of the second substitute, please say aye. Any opposed? Okay, second substitute is now up for indefinite deferral. All those in favor of indefinite deferral? Okay, any opposed? So the second substitute is deferred indefinitely. Thank you for your work on this, and we appreciate it. Next is Substitute Bill 2016-460. Sponsor is Murphy. This is the one that we were having all our questions on. So is there a motion? Been moved and seconded. Councilmember Murphy.
So this is the bill that was substituted. Sorry I have a cold, getting confused. So what we've done is, this bill was before us previously, and it was rezoning all of these properties to R10, which we then found out that the properties did not even have 10,000 square feet in them. And so what we've done is broken it down into R6 and R8, and the R6 homes on Linmar are being taken out per the Planning Commission's, I think, recommendation. I think that may have been what we discussed there, but it at least satisfies the property owners on Linmar. So I'd like to move the substitute.
Thank you. So it's been moved, and is there a second? Great, been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Can I just ask, will the properties that are R6 going to come up in another bill, or will you be done with this? Whoop, I turned you off, sorry. Yes, ma'am.
So I would like to see, and I think a lot of the neighbors would like to see, those R6 properties on Linmar moved from RM20 to R6, but the property owners would like to keep it at RM20.
Okay.
And so,
We're just dealing with this.
yeah, even though the neighbors would like, a lot of the neighbors in the surrounding area, and I would like to see it move down to R6. That is not what the property owners want, so.
Okay, thank you. Good solution. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Substitute bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-470. Sponsor is Hastings. Changes 7.94 acres from IWG and MUA zoning for property located at 521 and 545 Great Circle Road. It says I have a letter from the sponsor, but it's, huh? Yeah. Well, is Rosie in the room? Okay. We'll move this to the heel. Wait, there's one. Hold on. That's 505. Okay, I'm going to move that to the heel and ask Rosie to check on that. I do have a letter from the sponsor referring to another bill, so perhaps that one just didn't make it in. Okay, so that's we're moving 470 to the heel. Next is BL 2016-471. Sponsor is Scott Davis. Changes 0.28 acres from MUN to MULA zoning for property located at 307 Wilburn Street. Do I have a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-472. Sponsor is Karen Johnson. Changes 1.94 acres from R10 to CSA zoning on properties located at 2138 and 2142 Murfreesboro Pike. I have a letter from the sponsor asking for approval. There it is. Well, once again, I have a letter from the sponsor asking for approval on a different bill. Oh, it's on 500. So we're going to move that one to the heel as well. Move to heel. Next is BL 2016-475. Sponsor Sledge changes 0.17 acres from CS to MULA zoning on property located at 467 Humphrey Street. Do I have a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-477. Sponsors Withers cancels 78.02 acres of a planned unit development overlay district for various properties southeast of Fatherland and South 5th Street intersection to permit implementation of a specific plan. Do I have a motion? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. I have a note that says I have letters, but sometimes next is, okay, so that was 477. Okay, now we're on BL 2016-478. Sponsors Withers changes 83.39 acres from CN and RM20 to SP zoning for various properties located southeast of Shelby Avenue and South 4th Street to permit a mixed-use development. Do I have a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Councilmember Bedney, is this on this item or did I blow past you? Okay, Councilmember Bedney, you're recognized.
Yeah, the last meeting I had asked MDHA if there was if we could do an effort to recycle some of the construction materials on the project, and I just wanted to ask Mr. Harbison if that's okay with the chair.
Okay, I believe Mr. Harbison is here ready to answer that question.
Yes, didn't think of it. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. I already talked to Danny Herron. I think, no, we don't know the percentages because these are very old structures, but there is materials in there we think can be salvaged, solid core doors, some of the window frames. Frankly, we haven't thought of it. About you, I think it was you who brought it up. Somebody in this council brought it up. So thank you. We've already talked to Danny Herron at Habitat. We think it's possible. We got to work the details, but thank you.
And Chair. Yes,
Excuse
Chair.
me, we're dealing with other stuff. Yes, sir.
No, and I actually, we demolish a lot of buildings all the time in Metro, buildings that are owned by Metro, and we are not very good at being good stewards of those materials, and we could be more proactive as a message to the mayor's office, that if we put it on the contract, as we contract people to demolish our buildings, that they do some targeted recycling, that there is an opportunity to lower the amount of materials on landfills and to salvage some of those materials for future construction. And that there are agencies that already do it, like a Habitat. They have a restore program, and if it's planned properly, they'll come and remove the materials that can be recycled with plenty of time. So I think that's something that we should really try to do, because there's no need to fill up landfills with construction materials when they can be reused.
That's an excellent point. And I might ask Mr. Jameson, who probably knows this better than anybody. On Metro buildings, we require most of those to be LEED certified at some level. Is that correct?
On Metro buildings that exceed 5,000 square feet or there's a monetary figure. They have to be a minimum of LEED silver.
Gotcha.
Correct.
And often that has a component that deals with demolition waste and what we do with it, and recycling as well.
Absolutely. The USGBC has that as one of their primary points for LEED certification.
Okay. So thank you for bringing that up, and I think maybe a conversation with Nancy Whittemore could maybe make that more official. I think that's an excellent point.
But as you well know, Chair, LEED is a choice. I mean, you can choose to make points on the demolition end or
Right.
on another part. So I'm proposing that we are very deliberate in trying to salvage those materials, regardless of if we are trying to score LEED points or not. Because as Public Works has demonstrated, we have a problem with getting rid of all that debris. And we don't really need to be filling up landfills with construction material when they can be removed and reused.
Excellent point. Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other discussion on this item? Thank you, Mr. Bedning. All in favor of BL 2016-478, say aye. Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-479. Sponsor is Hastings. Changes 0.72 acres from IWD to MUNA zoning for properties located at 1311, 1313, and 1315 Baptist World Center. I have a letter from the sponsor to approve. Is there a motion? Been moved and seconded. Councilmember Besnay, are you still left over from the last discussion, or do you wish to speak?
Not really.
No,
I just
okay.
like to have the microphone.
I'm going to turn it off then. All those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is 2016-480. Sponsor is Hastings, changes 0.9 acres from RS5 to R6 zoning for properties located at 116, 118, 120, and 124 Fern Avenue. Do you have a letter from the sponsor to approve? Do I have a motion? It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-481. Sponsor is Scott Davis. Changes 1.27 acres from CL to MULA zoning for property located at 1041A East Trinity Lane. Do I have a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Next is BL 2016-482. Sponsor is Roberts. Changes 0.22 acres from R6 to RS 3.75A zoning for properties located at 4911 Tennessee Avenue. There is a proposed amendment. Let me check the letter. Okay. Okay, the letter does not mention the amendment. Can you tell me how to handle that, Mr. Jameson?
We don't need to approve the amendment
Okay.
in committee. He can move the original and drop the amendment on the floor.
Great. Sounds good. Okay, so we will simply vote on the bill as we have it before us. If someone will make a motion. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Okay. And now we'll go back and pick up those two that I didn't have the letter in hand for, which I now do. So BL 2016-470, sponsor is Hastings, changes 7.94 acres from IWD to MUGA zoning for property located at 521 and 545 Great Circle. I have a letter from the sponsor to approve. Is there a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Finally, BL 2016-472, sponsor is Karen Johnson. Hold on, did we get that one added in? Found it. $500. Get Rosie to check on that one too. We are checking. Hold on just a second.
472.
Bear with us. We're checking records. Okay. All right. Properly documented. Is there a motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Any other business that needs to come before the Planning Commission? Planning Committee? Seeing none, we are dismissed.